Hi there, I'm Scott, and this is GreatScott Knitting, a vlog podcast thingy. It is Saturday, October 1st of 2022, and a perfect moment to restart, reboot, re-envision, reimagine, rewind, I don't know, get back into the swing of things about GreatScott Knitting. So welcome back to me. Y'all have been there. I'm the one that went AWOL for an entire really hot summer. But I'm back. Work over the summer was really crazy. From about late March all the way through to just about 2 weeks ago, well, about a week ago, I was in class all day, every week. So very, very busy. Which means that when I wasn't at work doing work, I was just didn't have the energy to devote to a lot of other things. Now, I did knit. Y'all ain't gonna keep me from that. I don't care what's going on. I even knit while I was under the weather this summer, but so that's kind of what I've been up to, was work, and more work. I had COVID over the summer, which was not fun. Although I do pat myself on the back. Over a year, what was 2.5 years that I didn't have COVID. Didn't catch COVID, so I felt really good about that. But I did come down with COVID, and luckily it was a mild case, and was able to survive that relatively unscathed. Some sad news: one of my dogs had to go across the Rainbow Bridge towards the end of this summer. She had really bad arthritis. It was having a very difficult time moving, and so before it got even worse, we decided that it was time for her to make that transition, which was hard. But about a month before that transition occurd, we did bring in a new dog into our pack. She is a 2 to 2.5 year old German Shepherd mix. Her name is Inga, and she is a real sweetheart. So there was that, and that helped soften the blow a little bit. But of course, we'll always miss my Sadie girl. And then this past week, we brought in a foster dog, who is about a year and a half old German Shepherd mix, or German. Yeah, I assume she's a mix, but a year and a half old German Shepherd mix. She is a real sweet dog. She was hours away from being euthanized because the shelter was too full. That's the only reason. So make sure that next time you are looking for a pet, a dog, a cat, go to your local shelter. Find your new companion there, because there are so many dogs and cats that are euthanized every day for no other reason than there's simply no more space. So we have rescued this dog, and she's very sweet. Our intention, I believe, over time, is that we will probably fail as foster parents and become adoptive parents of this lovely young lady. So that's a little bit of a recap. What's going on? Not a whole lot. Later on this month, I will share with you not works in progress, but finished objects since early in the summer. So I'll probably do just a few here and there as we go through. the month of October, which means, of course, that it is Vlogtober time, which, for those of you who may not be aware, Vlogtober is that YouTuber or podcaster opportunity to do daily posts throughout the month of October. It is highly popular among the knitterly world to do a little Vlogtober festing activities, because in addition to being Vlogtober, it is also the Stephen Westknits mystery knit along season, which I'm of course, along with thousands of other knitters out there that are really excited about that starting. So this October, starting today, I'll be trying, we'll see how far I get. I'm going to be trying to do a small post, or maybe longer posts here and there, throughout the month of October, hopefully daily. We'll see. I am going to sort of do a theme concept here, and I'm going to say my theme for Vlogtober this year is getting into the habit, primarily of podcasting again, which, man, I'm super rusty, don't know what I'm doing, all over the place, and if this is a freaking shit show, I apologize. But when you get out of the habit of something, it doesn't come as smoothly, it's not as easy, and it takes a while to get going again. So that's what we're going to be doing. My mindset is, that which, you can't start something if, you can't get to the end of something if you don't get it started, or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, my mindset is just, let's just do this, and see where it takes us throughout this month. So that's where I'm at. Just gonna, keeping an open mind, knowing that things are going to go well. Kind of that. Oh yeah. So as Stephen West will sometimes say, or use as an aphorism, is say yes, don't stress. So that's the mindset I'm taking right now towards this podcast. Is say yes, don't stress. And so here we are. So, hey, for those of you who are brand new to GreatScott Knitting, this is the first time you're checking it out, maybe because it's Vlogtober, and you're checking out different YouTube channels that are participating in the Stephen West Mystery Knit Along. Welcome to my little corner of the internets and the webverse and whatever else you want to call it, but welcome. For those of you who are returning viewers and are like, man, where's he been? Welcome back. Welcome back to me. Welcome back to you. I'm glad you're all here, no matter whether you're brand new or returning. So, at Westknits Knit Along, last year was the first year that I participated in the Westknits Knit Along, the Mystery Knit Along here in October. And last year was, of course, Shawlography. And this is, of course, for those of you who were around last year, you saw me go after this little monster. So this was, of course, Shawlography, which was fun. I dyed my own colors for this, and I still really like how they played. It's a very, my color choices were very festive, a little outside my comfort zone in terms of colors, and so I really like how it turned out, and I do occasionally throw it on just for fun. So this was last year's Shawlography. I've done a few other mystery knit along shawls but not at the time that they occurred. But so this is the first time that I played along with the Mystery Knit Along, so I'm really looking forward to this year's fun. So of course, the name of the shawl is Twists and Turns. And the clues that we have so far is that there will be a cable, if you're getting a kit, you're getting a cable needle with that kit. And of course, the introductory instructions call for a cable needle, which of course makes us all go twists and turns, cable needle, probably cables involved in this. But he also often has us learning something completely new with each of these knit-alongs. And so there's a lot of speculation as to what might be included in this shawl. So we can pretty much put a lot of money down on some kind of cabling. I'm thinking there might also be a potential for twisted stitches, sort of that, sort of those Japanese cable concepts where you're doing a lot of twisted stitches, not just cabling. So there's that potential of having twisted stitches and using your cable needle in that fashion. Some people have speculated there's going to be a lot of short rows, so twists and turns, so short row shaping to maybe give some unique shape to the shawl, or using some of that as an aspect of the shawl. The colors, of course, are the biggest thing that we have huge decisions to make and big input on. And so that is a big decision for most of us, is what is your color choice? And then, of course, the big debate, and it's not a debate, but it's, of course, always the big question is to kit or to draw from stash. Are you a kit or a stash person? Well, for me, it's more of a build or buy. So I built, and by built I meant I dyed my own colors. So in some ways this is both stash, because I had the bare yarn in stash already, and kit, because I built. It's both. It's kind of stashy, and yet it's also sort of like a kit, because I created my own kit by dyeing it specifically for this purpose, wherein many of those kits were dyed specifically and curated specifically for this purpose. So it is not, I'm not pulling existing colors from my stash. Now, kind of the main reason I don't do that is because I don't have a lot of, I don't have a lot of skeins of yarn that fit that need of 2 skeins of a light color, 2 skeins of a dark color, and a color pop that just really naturally come out of my fingering weight stash, of which there's only a couple of bins there that are fingering weight. So I dyed my own, which is very challenging. It's I would say in many ways it is more challenging to create your own colors than it is to go out and buy a kit where someone makes all of that decision for you, and where you just have to pick between different kits. This, you actually have to figure out what color do you want to go with, and what is your color pop going to be? What style of dyeing are you going to use? And at first I was thinking, okay, I'm going to go with some fall colors, what I did last year, which these to me were very muted fall colors. There's browns and golds and, a very sort of beigey color. with some color pops of the blue and the purple. So I dyed up some colors, which were very much inspired by my German Shepherd. So there's just some browns and blacks and golds and beigey colors, just like in a sable German Shepherd coat. But I was like, you know what, that's a little too busy, because I was thinking, oh, then I'll pair this with some lighter colors, maybe like this color as the light color, and then a color pop like maybe that purple, which I think would be really cool. But I wasn't sold on that. I wasn't excited about that. And one of my favorite colors is blues. Some really nice blue colors. But I tend to avoid those when I dye them, because I don't want to get like trapped into always dyeing my favorite color. And so I almost never dye blue, which is kind of crazy. So I was like, screw this. This is a shawl that I really think I do want to wear. And so I really took it to heart, that idea of that starflake, think his starflake pattern. So you want that really high contrast. And I remember last year thinking this might have looked really cool in like a series of black, white, and gray, just being very neutral, very monotone colors. I'm just not happy how that's laying, and it's driving me crazy. So I was thinking, I want to go something really super high contrast, but I do want to use blue. And I kind of wanted to go with a dark blue and a light blue, or a dark with gray, with gray and black sort of over, undertones to it. And do I have my blue entry? I do. So one of my colors that I dyed is this sort of grayish blue, which is really pretty. It's really quite nice. And it would work for what I had going on. But it struck me as the color struck me as a little too dark. Now on camera it is really is very light, and it is a very light color, but there's some darker sections to it, and it was a little bluer than what was happening in my mind. So I was like, fine, I'm going to take the blue away and go with gray and really punch up the gray aspect of the lighter tone. And so I came up with this color. This is my light color for my contrast. And I really did like this. So it's very tonal. I went with tonal. It's very a basic tonal of one color, of just this really silvery gray. And you can see how it's tonal, so it shifts in lights and darks, but it never gets really dark. And so I think it's going to be a lovely, lovely light color to be using. Now, the big color, the dark color, I guess big color. I don't know why I call it big color, but my dark color is, I wanted something that was somewhat more moody, somewhat more have a lot of depth, a little more shading to it, but a very strong, very distinctively blue color. And so I have this as my distinctively blue color. There's lots of layers of color in this skein. And so it was fun to dye, but you can see there's gray and blue and sort of a denim-y color to it, but there's also layers of sort of charcoal and black, and I think it's just really nice. It plays much darker in person than it is kind of coming up on camera. And so between these two, you can see there's definitely that high contrast that you're going to get as these two play with each other in this shawl. So I think that's just going to look really, really stunningly pretty. Now, names. The names I came up with for these colors are... Now, okay, so background as to where these names are coming from. I'm a huge, huge Tolkien fan. Have been since I was a kid and I first read The Hobbit. Absolutely fell in love with that world, the stories, the characters, the environment, everything about it. And then when I read the Lord of the Rings trilogy the very first time, I was just, it was just over the moon with it. In fact, when I was a kid, when I was in high school, every summer I would reread it, cover to cover, from the very start to the very end, rereading the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And so, this summer, the end of this summer, started, of course, Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power on Amazon Prime. And I started watching it a few weeks behind. I actually waited a few weeks, so I could sort of really binge watch into it. So as I was dyeing, what was it, last weekend, I binge watched Rings of Power. I think it was the first 5 episodes. And so those are influencing my colorways, as they were sort of there to influence my dyeing experience. So this is Mithril, the dwarven metal that they found in Khazad-dûm, and into which was made many wonderful things that the elves helped them create. So that's Mithril, that silvery color. The dark color is called Fuine, or deep night or deep shadow in Elvish, Fuine, which is kind of fitting because it's nice and deep and dark. And so between Mithril and Fuine, those will be such lovely things to play with each other. Now let's talk the color pop. Now this is where I had a really challenging time, because I was thinking, oh, color pop, we want something that, maybe, that really kind of plays off. And I was like, oh, I was like, nope, not that. How about purple? I could go with a purple that could pop into this. And I was like, well, purple too close to blue, maybe not as pop, doesn't give that real pop of color that I was thinking of. And so then a couple of things came to mind. One of my favorite late summer, early fall flowers is the sunflower, the state flower of Kansas, where I was born, raised, currently live. So yellow really kind of spoke to me as the color pop that I wanted. And I was thinking, oh, I could make it a grayish, take yellow and gray and kind of mute it down, gray it up a little bit, make it maybe not so much, in your face. And I was like, well, I don't know. So I started playing with the yellow color, and I kind of just went with yellow. Now it is somewhat tonal. It's not a perfect solid, but it is a tonal color. You can kind of see a little shifts in depth and hue, but for the most part, it's yellow. It's a very yellow, and I really like how this is playing with those other colors in skein, and I think it'll really shine as a color pop in this shawl. Whatever this shawl is doing, this is going to be a star. And so, of course, naming conventions. So hang on, before I go into naming, I will show you the 3 colors together. We've got Mithril in the gray. We've got Fouine in the dark blue black. And then the final color is Laurelin, which is the golden tree in the Elven homeland. So Laurelin. So those, I think, are just going to be really super fun with each other. Really pleased with how the colors have turned out. So those are my colors for Westknits Mystery Knit Along Twists and Turns Shawl 2022. Fun stuff. Excited for it. So anyway, that is today's entry. I've shared with you my shawl, or my colors for the Mystery Knit Along. Starts on Thursday, October 6th, the day after Yom Kippur. For those of you, last Sunday was Rosh Hashanah. So Happy New Year to all of those of you who are celebrating the new year. I hope you are having a sweet start to this new year, and that you have an easy fast coming up on Wednesday, October 5th, although we'll probably talk before then. Yeah. So that's what I wanted to accomplish today. So check mark, had a vision. This is what I want to accomplish. That's what I want to talk about. Gotten that done. And so, you know what? May you have peace in your home and the fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Thank you for joining me today, and we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.